Yeah, dear students, in continuation to the last class, we will be continuing this remaining reactive intermediates also. Okay, so here what we discussed in the last class, we have discussed about carbocations, carbon anions and free radicals. Now what I told you, carbocations are electron deficient, which is having only 6 electrons in it, right, with the sp2 hybridization. When carbon anions are having 8 electrons and it is sp3 hybridized with the pyramidal geometry, which is isoelectronic and isostructure with ammonia, right. Then next we have free radical. So we have discussed about that. It is paramagnetic because it is having one unpaired electron, that is what, total 7 electrons are there, and it is highly reactive, right. Okay, we have again we have classified them, and we also discussed that electron releasing groups increases the stability of electron deficient species like carbocations and free radicals. Okay, and electron withdrawing groups increases the stability of carbon anion, which is having negative charge. These things we have discussed in the last class. Okay, now to that continuation part, we are going to discuss about carbenes. So carbenes and nitrines are also reactive intermediates. So how these are formed? So let us say here I have something like chloroform, let us say. So what is the formula of chloroform? CHCl3. Okay, so now upon treating this with some base OH minus, so what happens? This is a base. So here 3 electron withdrawing groups, I can say 3 chlorine atoms are highly electronegative atoms are attached to the carbon, and that will be abstracting, this base is abstracting this proton, and we are getting something like this CCl3 minus. Okay, so this will be abstracting this proton and negative charge will be on this carbon. So now this carbon, carbon with negative charge. So now here, since the carbon is smaller size with 3 chlorine atoms like this, okay, here chlorine is a good living group, and it will be living, while it is living, it will take the bonded electrons with itself there because it is electron negative. Therefore what we are getting here, carbon with chlorine, and here we have around the carbon we know 4 orbitals are there. See, already 2 are bond paired, it means 2 atoms are 2 orbitals are involved in the bond formation, and I am just indicating this bond with these negative charge electrons, and here see this chlorine is removing from here along with the electrons. Therefore here on the carbon remaining we have one more empty orbital like this. Okay, so there are 4 orbitals. 2 are participated here in the bond formation, and one is having like a pair of electrons, non-bonding electrons, and one more is empty orbital. So this is how the carbon look like. Okay, so now here we have total 4, out of 4 2 are participated in bond. I am representing here 2, and if the 2 electrons are in one orbital only, so like this, if they are paired up like this with the opposite spins, so we can say that carbenes are called singlet carbenes. So carbenes are 2 types. How many types? 2 types. So I just wanted to explain it here. So I just wanted to explain about the carbenes here. So just take carbenes are of 2 types. Carbenes. So one is singlet carbene, and other one is triplet carbene. So what exactly singlet carbene here? So around the carbon we know 4 orbitals are there. So now out of that, so 2 are bond formed. Okay, let us say this may be some hydrogens or some alkyl groups we can consider, and one more orbital is having some pair of electrons like this, and one more is empty orbital. If one is 2 electrons are there in only in one orbital with opposite spin, so here we can say this is singlet. Why it is singlet? See, what is the spin multiplicity? In order to calculate the multiplicity, we have a formula. Multiplicity formula is 2s plus 1. So what is the spin of these electrons here? So since they are having, so each electron is having half spin. If it is clockwise, let us consider plus half, and if it is anti-clockwise, let us consider minus half. Therefore, since these electrons are with opposite spin, so one is plus half, and let us say another one is with minus half, and overall what we can say here, so overall spin, the total sum of the spins is 2 into 0 plus 1. So what we are getting here? 1. So what is the multiplicity we got? So multiplicity is 1. So I can say this is singlet. So what is the multiplicity for singlet carbenes? This is 1. So when it comes to triplet, see, carbon is there. So to this, let us say here also two hydrogen atoms are considered. So here one orbital with one electron and another orbital is also there now. So in that one more electron you keep it like this. So now what happens? The two orbitals are having one electron and each of them are unpaired, right? So now if we consider this carbon, so what is the multiplicity we are getting? Spin multiplicity. So spin multiplicity is calculated using 2s plus 1. So what is the spin? So each electrons are of same spin now. So let us say plus half and plus half, both of them are plus 1. So 2s plus 1. What is the formula of multiplicity? Formula is 2s plus 1. So using these, so what we are getting here? 2 into 1 plus 1. So we are getting it as 3. So total, what is the overall multiplicity we are getting? 3. So we can say this as triplet. Okay, so we have two types of carbon, one is singlet, another one is triplet. Okay, so now, so since we have two types of carbons, we need to compare their stability, right? So which is more stable, whether singlet or triplet. So now here, depending upon the side groups, what are the groups attached, so we need to decide the stability. So it depends upon the what kind of groups attached to it. So when the attached groups are something like hydrogens or some alkyl groups, without any lone pair on that, so then that case triplet carbon is more stable. Then that case the triplet is more stable. When it is triplet is more stable, when the attached groups are something like hydrogen or some carbon alkyl groups, so we can say this is a triplet is more stable than the singlet. Okay, when the attached groups, if see like here some X group is there. See, we know on X atom X, let me scroll little more. Yeah, if these X groups, see, if this is halogens or something like having a lone pair electron, like some lone pair electrons on it, non-bonding electrons on it. So if I keep one electron over here and the other one is here, so what happens? And let us consider like this, and here this is what? Triplet now. So triplet we are writing, and one more you can say here, this is singlet, right? So out of these two, which is more stable if someone asks you? So how do we say? See, due to the repulsion between this electron and the like here one more unpaired electron. So triplet carbons are less stable than the singlet carbons. When it is, when the attached atom contains some non-bonding electrons on it. So once again, if there is no non-bonding electrons, that case triplet carbon is considered to be more stable. If the attached atom consists some non-bonding electrons on it, so what happens? Due to this repulsions, so triplet carbon is considered to be less stable than the singlet carbon. So I hope the difference you got from here. So which is more stable here? Singlet is more stable when the attached carbon, like to the carbon, if the attached group contains some non-bonding electrons, in that case, like take the examples of halogen. So in that case, singlet carbon is more stable than the triplet carbon. I hope this is clear. Okay, for what is the hybridization of singlet carbon? So you should remember this thing also. So what is the hybridization of singlet carbon? Singlet carbon hybridization is sp2, and the linear, if the triplet carbon is linear, so in that case the hybridization is sp. I hope everything is clear here. Okay, so in what reactions we can see the intermediate carbon as intermediates? So you know, so we are going to study about Reamer-Tiemer reaction. If you are already done with your 12th class, so you are aware of these Reamer-Tiemer reactions, which is very important for your board exams also. Okay, and also Sohn-Bleit reactions. Okay, what exactly Sohn-Bleit and Reamer-Tiemer reaction I am going to explain later. Okay, and also free radical substitution. So not FSR. So here it is not in this case. So you just take only first two examples only. Sohn-Bleit reaction and Reamer-Tiemer reactions are the examples in which a carbon involved as an intermediate. Okay, and free radicals are involved in intermediate in free radical substitution, free radical addition reactions, which we already discussed in the last video. Okay, so here similar to carbons, we also have nitrines. So here the carbon, how many electrons are there? Just look here. So here 2 bond pair electrons, here also 2 bond pair electrons, and 1 non-bonding electron. Totally how many electrons are there? 6 electrons are there. So can I say singlet carbon is electron deficient also? Electron deficient. Okay, singlet carbons are electron deficient also. How many electrons are there? 6 electrons. Similar to these, here we have nitrines. So in the nitrines also, again we can classify them as singlet nitrine, triplet nitrine here also. Okay, now, so how this is formed? So here, as in the case of carbons, nitrines can also exist either in singlet and triplet state. Nitrine intermediates are formed in thermal or photochemical decomposition reactions. So generally let us say some hydrozoic acid or its derivatives, let us say alkyl group with some hydrogen I am taking like this. So here since it is like this now, so we can write this as R N N2, I am just wanted to write it like this. See here, this complete group here it can remove like this. So what happens here, if we remove it like this, the bonded electrons are taken by, see, if I represent like this, or I can represent negative and positive over here. So now what happens is the bonded electrons are taken by this N2 molecule only, as it is leaving upon heating, it leaves us N2 gas. We know nitrogen gas is highly stable. So whenever we are heating this kind of compounds, like any azide compounds, so what happens is, so they will be releasing N2 gas, because N2 gas is highly stable. So wherever there is a chance to remove as N2 gas or evolve for evolution of N2 gas, the gas will be liberated out. Then what we are going to get here, R N with 6 electrons on it. Just check how many electrons are here. See, 2 bond pair, and here we have 6 non-bonding electrons. So total overall how many electrons are there? 6 electrons are there. So in nitrine how many electrons are there? In nitrine we have 6 electrons on it. So not only here, so in some other reactions like we may also see this kind of acyl nitrine intermediates also there. Okay, so these things are seen in different reactions. We will be looking about these things in upcoming reactions or neighbor reactions also. Okay, so as of now we have finished, we are done with carbocation, carbon anion, free radical, carbons, and next nitrines. Okay, so you must focus on first 3 things and also on carbons, like how do we classify them, triplet, singlet, what is the stability order, all those things you should know. Okay, the next thing is, so here we are discussed about like reactants are there. This gives these reactants like substrate plus reagent will react to form what? Something called intermediate, right? Something called intermediate, and finally gives us some product. We discussed about this thing, right? So again, what are the intermediates? We already studied here, carbocations, carbon, and all those things we have studied. So we are done with these intermediates. Now here, along with the substrate, I just mentioned something called a reagent. So this reagent is also called as attacking reagent. What is that? Attacking reagents. So these attacking reagents, see, attacking reagent will attack on the substrate. So name itself say attacking reagent I am calling. See, why it will attack on the substrate first? We should be clear with that. So why it should be attack? So common sense says that it might be some unstable, or it might be having some electron density or electron deficient. There is some reason which is making it unstable. If it is attacking on this, it may gain some stability by forming some product, right? So maybe that kind of reasons are there. So what are the reagents we have? See, if the reagent is electron deficient, so what it requires now? It requires some electron. So it is seeking the electrons, or it is required to take electron from the substrate. This is one thing. If it is electron rich, I mean more electron density is there, now it is tending to donate that electrons to the substrate. Therefore its electron density is decreased and it becomes relatively more stable. Something like this, there is some reasons. So what kind of reagents we have? So one is electrophile, what we can call, one is electrophile, and another one is nucleophile, and another one is free radical. So these are the attacking species or attacking reagents we have. So we will be looking into these things very carefully. If you are clear with this, so we may do some questions on this also, and in the next topic, I mean in the next lecture, we are going to start some electronic effects. Then we can slowly we can go to the chemical reactions also, which will be boosting our confidence to the next level once if we are clear with these things first. Okay, so first of all, what exactly electrophile? So electrophiles are electron deficient species. What it is? Electron deficient species. See here the name electro, you can just write it as electrons. Electron. Phile means, so phile means it is something like affinity or love. So electron, see phile means what? Love. So these species, whatever the species we are calling it as electrophile, that species or that particular compound is having love or affinity towards electrons. See, since the species whatever the electrophile E, let us say we will indicate the electrophile with E. Now this E is having love towards electrons. It means this must be electron deficient. Since it is having less electrons, now this it requires electron from other species, right? It means it is loving or it is tending to gain electron from others. So we can call those kind of species as electrophiles. I hope it is clear how to define an electrophile. So electrophile is an electron deficient species which can accept a pair of electrons from others. So now this electrophile means electron deficient species which requires or which accepts electron from other species. Since it is deficient, it requires electron from others. So what electrophile will do? They will accept electron from others. Okay, a pair of electrons are required for this particular electrophile to make it stabilized. Okay, I hope the definition is clear. The definition of electrophile is clear. Okay, now what are the examples we can say for these electrophiles? Okay, so now electrophiles can be of two types. What are those? If there is no charge, see, electrophile means we know electron deficient species. So this electron deficient species may be a neutral one, maybe a neutral one, or it can be a positively charged. What is that? Positively charged. It cannot be negatively charged, it can be positively charged only, because electron deficient means what? It should be having less electrons, lesser than its required number. So it means definitely we should represent with positive only, or it can be neutral also. It cannot be a negatively charged. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, so let us see how these neutral nucleophiles and positively nucleophiles can be considered here. See, so neutral nucleophiles are species with vacant orbitals on the central atom. For example, here I am taking BF3 molecule. BF3 molecule here, how many electrons are there around the boron? Just check here. So boron, see, 3 fluorine atoms are there, just connect them like this. Yeah, now count the number of electrons around the boron here. So here 1 electron, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So how many electrons are there in the boron BF3 molecule? It has only 6 electrons, right? So it is having only 6. But in order to gain octet configuration or noble gas configuration, or in order to gain the stability, how many electrons should it should contain? The molecule should contain 8 electrons. But how many are there? It should contain 8, but it has only 6 electrons are present in this. How many electrons are there? Only 6 electrons are present. So in order to make this 6 to 8, how many electrons are needed? 2 more electrons are needed now. It means if some compound is there to give the 2 electrons, this BF3 molecule will accept. I hope this is also clear. Okay, so here we have one empty orbital of for this BF3 and boron. So now to this empty orbital, if there is any compound or species giving 2 electrons, this BF3 molecule will accept the 2 electrons. Okay, so that's why we can consider BF3 molecule as electron deficient. Okay, now since it is accepting 2 electron, now we can say this is electrophile or electron deficient species. Okay, I hope the definition is clear. Is there any charge present on this BF3? No, there is no charge. It's just a neutral molecule. Therefore, we can say this is neutral electrophile. What is that? Neutral electrophile. So you can give few more example. See, boron. In the boron family, what are the other elements we have? Boron, aluminium, AlCl3. AlCl3 belongs to same group na, boron family only na. What are the elements? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, like that we have now. So the halides are like if it contains only 3 atoms surrounded by this central atom, then we can say there is one empty orbital present. So that empty orbital can be gain some 2 electrons from other species. So all these groups, all these halides can be considered as electrophiles only. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now see one more example I am writing, CO2. Tell me whether it is electrophile or nucleophile. See, on carbon, how many oxygens are attached? This side one oxygen and this side also another oxygen is attached. So now tell me, so which is more electronegativity? Is there any charge on the carbon dioxide? No charge is present. But the bonded atom, whatever the bonded atoms are there here, see here one double bonded oxygen, here also one double bonded oxygen. Now we know the electronegativity of carbon is more, therefore the bonded electrons are dragging or pulled towards oxygen atoms itself. So what they will create? They create some positive charge on the central carbon atom. So they will create some deficiency, electron deficiency on the central carbon atom. Therefore what happens? Now the carbon center can be considered to be electrophilic center. What is that? Carbon center is considered to be electrophilic center. So now the overall molecule we can consider as electrophile. What is that? Electrophile. I hope this is also clear. So now tell me whether SO3 molecule is electrophile or not. So here also SO3 structure you can write like this. So when you are writing like this, see 3 bonded atoms, what they will do? They will, oxygen atoms are electronegative, therefore they will drag these electrons towards themselves and they may create some positive charge, electron deficiency on the central sulfur atom, which make it electrophilic, and overall molecule is considered as electrophile. So SO3, CO2 is considered to be neutral electrophiles only. So what are the examples I given? BF3, CO2, SO3, AlCl3, all this comes under neutral electrophiles. Not only this, let us see one more thing also, PF5 or PCl5. If we see these things, what happens here? See, around the phosphorus there is no non-bonding electrons on the phosphorus. All the 5 sides are covered with what? Halogens only. So due to this, what happens? They create positive charge on the like central phosphorus atom, and to that, so we have more electron deficiency on the phosphorus, and it is also having like empty d orbitals also, which makes it electron deficient, or which is having electrophilic side. So PCl5, PF5, all this also considered as neutral electrophiles only. What is that? Neutral electrophiles. Okay. Now, yeah, this is about neutral electrophiles. So now we need to discuss about positively charged species, positively charged electrophiles. So what do we mean by positively charged? See, electron deficient compound. It should be what? Electron deficient. So let us say, see, there is a nitrogen, or let us say carbon is there. So carbon is having some 3 hydrogens attached to it, and one chlorine or some electronegative group is attached. Now we discussed that due to their electronegativity difference, what happens? The bond is polarized, therefore the bond is taken, the bonded electrons are taken by more electronegative atom and will be giving a carbocation something like this, and Cl minus something like this. Okay. So now this carbocation, see, carbon with positive charge. So how many electrons are there in carbocations? We discussed it is having only 6 electrons. So 6 electrons only, na? So now tell me whether it is electron deficient or rich. So electron deficient only. So all carbocations are considered as carbocations, or what? Electron deficient. And example for positively charged electrophiles. So carbocations are example for positively charged what? Electrophiles. Positively charged electrophiles. I hope this is clear. So how can we identify positively charged and neutral electrophiles? Okay. So you can give few more examples. Now tell me halogens with positive charge. For example, chlorine with positive charge, whether it is electrophile or not. See, if I write Cl2 molecule like this, representing dots, I mean lone pair electrons on it. See, now let us consider this bond is completely polarized towards one carbon atom. Let us consider like that. So now what happens? One chlorine atom is losing the bonded electrons, another one is gaining the 2 electrons. So now tell me, so on one chlorine atom, let us say this is A chlorine, this is B. So what happens on chlorine A, we are getting positive charge, and chlorine B, we are getting negative charge, right? So now the positively charged chlorine, that is A, is considered to be electron deficient only now, because it lost the bonded electrons. Now it is having only 6 valency electrons, right? So this is also considered as electrophiles. So halogens with positive charge is also electrophile only. Okay, I hope electrophile is clear. Okay, and now what about this molecule, you tell me? So NO2 plus. So this is also electrophile only now. See, nitrogen with some positive charge on it. So what is the hybridization of this compound? See, how many sigma bonds are there? Here one sigma, one pi. Here one pi and one sigma, let us consider. So how many sigma bonds? 2 sigma bonds are there. So we can say this sp hybridized. We already discussed about hybridization in the chemical bonding. Just wanted to revise little bit here. So number of sigma bonds plus number of lone pair electrons gives what is the hybridization of that particular central atom. So here no lone pair electrons, only sigma bonds are there. So 2 sigma bonds. So we can say one is S and P. So sp hybridized. Now what is the, like these are electronegative atoms and carbon, nitrogen is having positive. So if it is taken by oxygen, what happens here? So bond which is more electronegative, oxygen is more electronegative now. So bonded electrons are shifted or polarized towards oxygen atoms only. That creates more electron deficiency on the central nitrogen atom. Therefore it will be a electrophilic center. So electrophilic center, and the compound is considered to be electrophile. What is that? Electrophile only. I hope these things are very clear without having any confusions, right? Okay. Now what about nucleophile? So we discussed about electrophile in the last class, I mean the last discussion. So here we have nucleophiles. So what exactly nucleophile? So nucleo means what? Nucleo, it is nothing but nucleus. What is that? Nucleus. Okay, phile means I already told you, which means it is love or affinity towards what? Nucleus. The species which is having affinity or the love towards nucleus is considered to be nucleophiles. Okay, so love towards nucleus, those species, the species which have affinity or love affinity towards nucleus are considered as nucleophiles. So nucleophiles is indicated or represented with the symbol Nu. Okay, if it is neutral you can use Nu, if it is like charge you can use Nu minus. Similarly electrophile, if it is neutral you can just use E, if it is charged, positively charged, you can use E plus. Okay, here so what exactly it is? See, nucleus, the love towards nucleus, the affinity towards nucleus we are seeing now. So means nucleus means it is positive charge, right? So if there is a positive charge here, we know like charges repel, unlike charges attract each other, right? Since let us say this is nucleus or positive charge, nucleus means it is having protons and neutrons, no? So let us say nucleus, okay, positive charge. Now the affinity towards nucleus means this species, whatever the species we are saying, whatever the nucleophile we are saying, that must contain what? High electron density or maybe having some negative charge on it. Therefore opposite charges only will attract, right? So it means nucleophiles are electron rich species, we can say, or they having high electron density, we can say. Okay, so nucleophiles are electron rich species having at least one unshared pair of electrons on it. So they should contain at least one lone pair or one unpaired electron on it, then we can consider them as nucleophiles. Okay, so nucleophiles are also two types, one is neutral, another one is charged. So neutral and another one is negatively charged. Again nucleophile should not be having some positive charge, because negatively charged only, it means we can say it having more electron density. Positive charge means it will be having electron deficiency, right? Okay, so now neutral electrophiles means there is, it should at least contain one, at least neutral nucleophile means what? Species with at least one lone pair. LP means lone pair electrons on it. Okay, so give me some examples. So we can say ammonia. See, it contains one lone pair electron on it, so that can be donated to the like positive charge, I mean to the nucleus of other species. So I can say ammonia is a nucleophile. Now what about H2O? Water is also a nucleophile, because in oxygen we have lone pair. See, any species which contains some lone pair electrons on it can be considered as nucleophile, neutral nucleophile. So what about negatively charged species? So here halogen, see, just now I told you Cl minus. See, here it is having lone pair electrons as well as negative charge. Since it is having negative charge, which is highly electron dense, now easily attacks on the positively charged nucleus. So I can say this species is negatively charged nucleophile. Okay, so like that I just generalized all halogens as X minus, which means it can be F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus, anything. Okay, now again another thing, cyanide, Cn minus ion is there. So this can be also like anion only. So it can be also a charged, negatively charged nucleophile. And OH minus, so I minus, or we discussed about these things. Again, what about carbon anions? CH3 minus is there. Carbon with negative charge we have. So we can say this is also a negatively charged nucleophile. Negatively charged nucleophile. So all carbon anions are negatively charged nucleophiles. All carbocations are positively charged, right? It means positively charged means we can relate it to the electrophiles. So all carbocations are considered to be electrophiles and carbon anions are nucleophiles. I hope this is clear, right? Next we have free radicals. So free radicals are electron deficient species with one add electron on around the atom. So what are free radicals? These are electron deficient species with one odd electron on it. So we just discussed about CH3 radical means like carbon free radical, like this we discussed in now. So this is methyl free radical, which is having one odd electron over here. See, 3 hydrogen atoms are attached means there is 3 bond pair electrons, 3 BPs means 3 bond pair electrons plus 1 non-bonding electron, like 1 unpaired electrons or non-bonding electron, unpaired electron. So total we have 7 electrons. In order to make it octet configuration 8 electrons, we required one more. That's why it is mentioned to be deficient. Okay. So now what is the hybridization I told you? It will be generally sp2. What is that? sp2. So what is the hybridization I told you? sp2 generally. So when it is having strong electron withdrawing group like CF3, like fluorines around it, so we can consider that as sp3 hybridization in that case. So here also ethyl free radical is there. So this is also comes under free radical example. So here ethoxide ion free radical like CH3 CH2 O minus like oxygen with dot, which means a radical electron is there. So this is also considered as free radical only. Okay, so all these are paramagnetic only. So here you can see acetate ion free radical, like acetate free radical is also there, like this. So that is also free radical only. All these are paramagnetic. Okay, now let us see some examples over here. So first one is CH3, sorry. So this is about our complete discussion. So just let's give a try for these questions. So first of all, pause the video and try to solve on your own, then you can listen to me. So every time when you are listening to some faculties, so you just try give a try from your side first instead of depending on others. So after doing from your side, you can listen to them. Okay, so just pause the video and try this question. So ethyl chloride CH3CH2Cl undergoes homolytic cleavage or fission to produce what? See, we generally studied here homolytic cleavage gives what? Free radical generation only, na? So without looking anything, whatever the option includes only free radicals, choose that. So it should be, see, if it is homolytic cleavage like this, so we may expect CH3 CH2 1 electron plus Cl with one more electron. So first option is correct. Okay, so which are the following intermediate has complete octet? So this you have to try from yourself. Already we tried this, discussed this. So carbocation has only 6 electrons, right? So which means this is not the correct, because octet means how many electrons should be there? 8 electrons should be there. Now what about free radicals? It has 7 electrons, right? We have just now we discussed. So this is also not the correct. When it comes to carbon anion, so we discussed about carbon anions. It has 3 bond pair electrons plus 1 lone pair electrons or non-bonding electrons, 1 negative charge, 1 negative charge. So total how many electrons? Negative charge means 2 electrons. Bond pairs means, for example, here let us say negative charge, hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. See, 1 electron, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total 6 electrons here, 2 electrons from the negative charge. Total 8 electrons are there in the carbon anion. I hope got the answer how to solve this. So what about carbenes then? Octet means 8 electrons only, na? So second option is correct only. Now check for the carbenes. So I told you how many electrons are there in the carbenes. Only 6 electrons are there, right? So we discussed at the beginning of this session. Okay, so I hope you got how to solve this kind of questions, right? Okay, next we have, which are the following is diamagnetic. I told you while discussing about carbocations in the first lecture. So just tell me what about carbocation, like diamagnetic or paramagnetic. So it has 6 electrons which are all completely paired up. So 6 electrons are paired up completely, so it is diamagnetic. What about carbon ion? It has 8 electrons, all of them are paired, I told you. So this is also diamagnetic. If all the electrons are paired, we can say it is diamagnetic. If any unpaired electron is present, we can consider it as paramagnetic. What about singlet carbon? In singlet carbon also I told you, so by drawing like this, let us say 2 hydrogens are there and here 1 orbital, here 1 orbital. When we are discussing about singlet, so you should keep the 2 electrons in one orbital only, in one box only. So one box represents one orbital. So all the electrons are paired up now. Here 2 electrons are paired up. Here also bond contains 2 electrons which are paired. So it means no unpaired electrons. So this is also diamagnetic, which is having 6 electrons. All of them are paired. So since paired means we can say diamagnetic. So A, B, C are correct. So you can choose 4, which is all of the above. All are correct. Next, all are diamagnetic there. Now unshared pair of electrons. So read the question carefully. He is saying that unshared pair of electrons. Unshared pair. So it means there should be a pair of electrons on them. So carbon anion, which means it will be having 3 bonds and a pair of electron is there. So first one is correct only. Like you have to be very careful while reading the question first. Okay. Next, singlet carbon also they are saying. So what about singlet carbon? If I write singlet carbon, so how can I write? Like this. It is also containing one unshared pair of electron. This is unshared pair of electron only, no? So this one is also correct. Now triplet carbon he is saying. So how do we write triplet carbon? So I told you to keep the 2 electrons, one each in the each orbital. Therefore here electrons are there, but this is not a unshared pair, right? They are existing alone each other. They are not like a pair with opposite spin. So best suitable answer for this question is option D. I hope you got how to clear solve this kind of questions. If the question is asking, see here question is asking about unshared pair of electrons. So that's why B and A is correct but not C. I hope it is clear how to solve this kind of questions. If there is any confusion, please ask me in the comment box. Okay. Next, how many compounds are electrophiles here? Tell me how many of them are electrophiles. See CO2, we already discussed, this is electrophile. See SnCl2 is there and here FeCl3 is there. So FeCl3 will come to SnCl2 again. FeCl3, see if we remove this Cl from here, so what we will be getting? FeCl2, some place charge we will be getting. Again it will be having some vacant orbital. So why I am showing it as by removing? We know halogens are electronegative, so they will pull the electrons towards themselves, they create a positive charge on the central atom. So this will also be electrophile. Same story applicable for SnCl2 also, that is also electrophile only. And what about NH4 place? See, I told you that positively charged electrophiles and neutral electrophiles. So whatever the species, if that contains less than 8 electrons only, then only you can say electrophile. Here it is having NH4 having positive charge, but the electrons are already fully filled here. How many are there here in this species? So it is already having 8 electrons without any vacant orbital here. See, if the compound contains fully filled electrons, like 8 electrons are there, we know in nitrogen what are valency orbitals we have 2s and 2p. So how many vacant, like how many orbitals we have totally? 4 orbitals are there. So all these 4 orbitals, just in each orbital we know 2 electrons are there. So like that, if you keep 8 electrons are fulfilled, 8 electrons are there here already highlighted with pink. Okay, these are filled over here. So there is no vacancy to accept the electron. Therefore, this cannot be a nucleophile. That cannot be a electrophile. NH4 cannot be a electrophile because there is no vacant orbital. I hope this is clear. Now, if the species has either vacant orbital with positive charge or without positive charge, if at least it contains vacant orbital, then those can be considered as electrophiles. Okay, I hope this is also clear. Now what about BF3? As same example we have discussed in our discussion while explaining electrophiles. So it is having only 6 electrons, so this is electrophile. So what are the options we can go here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So total how many are there? So 4 is a option answer for this particular question. So this is a PYQ question from, I think, JEE mains question. Okay, I just collected whatever the PYQs related to this topic from JEE mains and like what NEET exam and also from EAP set. Just just merged all those questions. How many are these? Are electrophiles. So NO2 plus we discussed, this is electrophile. Just now I told you NH4 plus is not. And CCl2, what about CCl2? So here CCl2, tell me whether it will be singlet carbene or triplet carbene. So once if you know that properly, then only you can able to solve this. See, CCl2, I told you that when the attached atom contains lone pair electrons on it like this. So what I told you, singlet carbenes are more stable than the triplet carbenes, right? So this is singlet. So I told you singlet carbenes are electron deficient. So we can say these are electrophiles. We discussed beginning of this session. So this is also electrophile. AlCl3 is also electrophile, I told you. See, CCl3 with a negative charge. I told you species with a negative charge cannot be an electrophile. So this is not the one. SO3, I just have written it and I told you that this is also electrophile. I explained that particular example also, right? So how many of them are electrophiles? 1, 2, 3, 4. So answer here also it is 4 only. I hope it is clear how to solve this kind of questions. Okay, if you have any confusions or any doubts here, you can ask me in the comment box. So now tell me, species, the correct pair of the ambident nucleophiles. So what do we mean by ambident? So we know ambidextrous, right? I mean those who can write with both hands. So here ambident nucleophiles means, so a particular species will be having able to make a bond from both sides, either from right side or left side. From any of the end it can be ready to make a bond, or it can ready to donate the electrons. So those kind of species can be considered as ambident nucleophile. Let us say here AgCN is there now. So AgCN. So first of all you need to know whether it is covalent bond or ionic bond or what kind of compound it contains. And one more we have KCN here. So here we know K, which is potassium, which is first group element, and it will form ionic compounds, and it will be like K plus Cn minus. Okay, and here AgCN, which is from the D block elements, so it will be forming a covalent bond like this, okay. So if you want more about this, you can watch my Fajans rules in what classification of elements, so it will be uploaded, you can watch in that, okay. So now it will be having, AgCN will be having covalent nature. What nature it will be having? Covalent nature. Therefore this bond is covalent bond, I mean having more covalency nature. Now here whatever the lone pair electrons present on this nitrogen can be donated, okay. These electrons can be donated, and in this case, see, if I consider CN, cyanide is common part in both of these reagents, right. So from AgCN, from which side it is donating the electrons, or which side it is acting as nucleophile? From nitrogen side, right? Okay. Now when we compare with this, so in KCN, carbon is having negative charge, Cn minus. See, we know carbon, which is less electronegative than the nitrogen, which is having negative charge. So these electrons will be donated. So in KCN, Cn minus will be the donor, like carbon is a donor atom, this will be the donor, and here it is, this will be the donor atom. So if it makes bond, this will be making the bond, here it is making bond. So both sides, in this case it is nitrogen, in this case it is carbon. Therefore can I say here Cn minus, so this whatever the first option is there, it is ambident nucleophile only, it contains ambident nucleophile here, okay. When it comes to AgI and Ki, let us go to option D for more clarity here. So here AgI is there, here it is Ki is there. So whatever the thing present over here negative charge should be, must be on iodine only in both case. It is having covalent nature, we know, more than Ki, this will be like, this will be ionic, this will be covalent, we know that. But the thing is, it is having more covalent nature, we know that. But if we want to separate them, we will be separating Ag plus and I minus only in both cases, na? It will be K plus and I minus. Since this is a monovalent, like single atom, so this must be added from only, like it has only one side, there is nothing, like no sense of talking about two sides, because it's a single atom or single ion, so it can be act as iodide ion only, right. So it means there is no like thing to talk about ambident nature. So option D is incorrect, okay. So option 1 is correct. Now same, can you try to apply whatever the story I explained for AgCN and KCN, just apply same story to AgNO3 also. So here when it comes to AgNO3, so you can say directly, I am just explaining here, this is covalent compound, this is ionic compound. So it means here the donor atom will be different, here donor atom will be different. Therefore, so here in one case it will be nitrogen and another case it will be oxygen. So I can say this is ambident nucleophile. So what about this particular compound here? So R CO OAG, this is how you need to write, and this should be written as R CO OK. So K plus O minus, here O minus Ag plus. Both cases it is oxygen only donor atom, right? Oxygen only, O minus only. So there is no need, nothing to talk about two donating sides. The molecule should contain two donating sides, then only we can consider whether it is ambident or not. So option B is also incorrect and D is also incorrect. So we can go with A and C. So it is there in third option, so we can go with that third option. I hope it is clear. Okay, now tell me which are the following, which is the correct stability order of the following compounds or following intermediate. See, this I haven't explained you this concept, but I just wanted to ask you, first of all tell me, just leave this question and tell me, classify them ABC as primary, secondary, tertiary carbocations. So which is primary, which is secondary and which is tertiary. So now if you classify them, so based on the classification, so A is, see this is connected to only one carbon, so A is primary, and B is, this carbon is connected to this one and this one, C is secondary. And what about third one? So this carbon is a positively charged, this side and this side, so I can say B is tertiary carbocation. Now I told you, if there is electron releasing groups, what I told you, if electron releasing groups are present on a carbocation, that will be stabilized more. So now more the number of alkyl groups attached to that particular carbocation, so that will be more stabilized. It means in which case the carbocation is surrounded with more alkyl groups. So let us see exactly. If we want to solve this question, we need to know what inductive effect, resonance, and also hyperconjugation, or resonance, or I can say mesomeric effect. So these things we need to know before solving this question, but in the upcoming classes we are going to learn about this. But whatever the knowledge we have till now, let us solve with that. Okay, so now I told you electron releasing groups increases the stability of carbocation. So alkyl groups are considered to be electron releasing groups only. Whatever the alkyl group we have, that will be considered as electron releasing groups. Okay, now more the number of electron releasing groups around the carbocation, that will be more stabilized. See, this carbocation is surrounded by one alkyl group over here and second one over here, and this is the third one. So three alkyl groups are there around this carbocation. So this will be more stable now, because more the number of alkyl groups or electron releasing groups, more is the stability. So which is more stable? B. Okay, then from A and C, this is covered with two alkyl groups, but this is only one. So I can go with C, and I can keep A. So this can be more clearly explained with hyperconjugation, which we are going to learn in the next class, I mean upcoming classes. So just as of now, you just tackle with the concept that you know. Okay, so always try to give the at max. So whatever the concept you know, so just give it a try from that. So you are going to get the answer, at least some clues you are going to get. So you can finalize the answer with that. Okay, now most stable carbon anion. So I told you carbon having some negative charge on it can be considered as carbon anion. I told you. So this carbon anion is stabilized with what groups? Electron withdrawing group. I mean that should drag this negative charge towards themselves, then that will be stabilized. Now I told you that whatever the alkyl groups present, if any alkyl groups are present, those groups are considered to be electron releasing groups, right? See, what I told you, if carbon anion is present, you need to check for electron withdrawing groups. If electron withdrawing groups are present, it will be more stabilized. Okay, but what groups are present in this first, second, fourth option? These are one alkyl group. Okay, so this is two alkyl groups, this is three alkyl groups we have. More the number of alkyl groups, I can say more the number of electron releasing group, lesser will be the stability of carbon anion. So this is completely opposite to the carbocation. Okay, so which means there is no no alkyl groups or no electron releasing group in the option 3. So we can directly go through option 3. I hope it is clear. If it is not clear, so just wait for a few more days, just take a screenshot and keep it with you. We will be going to solve these questions again after studying inductive, mesomeric and hyperconjugation concepts. Okay, so no worries. So just those who are able to follow the class very properly or very sincerely, so they can able to tackle these questions with that small known like things. Okay, whatever the known things are there, you can able to solve with those points itself. Just I mentioned few points, based on that we are solving here. So now tell me stability of free radicals in decreasing order they are asking. I told you free radicals are electron deficient because they have only 7 electrons, require one more electron. The stability order of carbocations and free radicals are same. So higher the electron releasing groups connected to it, that free radical or that carbocation is more stable. So now tell me, which carbocation is more stable? The one which is having more alkyl groups surrounded around it. See here, 3 alkyl groups are there. So electron releasing groups are 3 here. So we can say this is tertiary free radical which is more stable. So tertiary free radicals are more stable, or tertiary carbocations are more stable. Then next, here it is surrounded by 2. So tertiary free radical. Then next it is primary. Then next it is normal methyl free radical. So what is the stability order we can go? So it is option number C, 2 means B, 1 means A, and this is methyl. Means what? Methyl means D. So just choose the option which is having this kind of answer. So option 4 will be correct. I hope you got how to solve this kind of questions very easily, right? Okay, now just a basic question. So hybridization of each carbon in the following compounds respectively are. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms are there. So let us number it from 1, 2, 3, 4 from here. So just tell me what are the hybridization of each of this carbon, or since the options are given from here to here, so go from here itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. So first carbon is having some methyl group like this attached to some group. So 4 are sigma bonds. 4 sigma bonds means what I told you, sp3. So this should be sp3. What about this? See, 1 sigma, second sigma and third sigma, and 1 pi bond is there here. So this is 1 pi bond. So number of sigma bonds are 3 sigma. So you should not consider pi bonds for hybridization. Therefore 3 sigma bonds sp2. So first one is sp3, second one should be sp2. Now what about this carbon, third carbon? 4 sigma bonds are there, 1, 2 and 2 hydrogens. So total 4 sigma bonds sp3. So sp3 here also it is there. And the next is cyanide. So like this it should be. So out of these three bonds, 2 are pi bonds and 1 is sigma bond. I can say 1 sigma, 2 pi. So this side 1 sigma, this side 1 sigma, let us say. So total overall 2 sigma bonds around this carbon. So I can say 2 sigma bonds means sp. So what is the hybridization of cyanide? It is sp. So option 1 is correct. So I hope you got how to solve this kind of questions, right? Next, which of the following carbon anion is least stable? So least stable, how do we solve this kind of questions? If I given 2 points itself, electron releasing groups decreases stability of carbon anions. I told you this, okay? And electron withdrawing groups increases stability of carbon anion. This point also I told you. Now just identify what kind of groups attached to this particular like carbon anions. In the first case we have nitro group, okay? In the second case it is methyl group. I told you alkyl groups are electron releasing groups, electron releasing. So electron releasing group, okay? See, they are asking about least stable. So now we know that alkyl group is electron releasing group. See, here we have carbon anion only, okay? Here we have CH2 minus and CHO, here negative charge. Now let's just leave about AB. See here C and D. Here no group is there, only hydrogens are attached to this carbon, and here one alkyl group is present. Out of these two, you tell me first which is least stable. Since alkyl group is present over here, this will destabilizes more than this. Therefore, which is least stable here? C is very least stable. So which is least stable? C is least stable because it is having alkyl group. Okay, out of DB stability order, if I ask which is least stable, C is least stable, then D you can write. Next, see, nitro group and aldehyde group, CHO means aldehyde. These groups are electron withdrawing group. We are going to learn about that in the upcoming classes. So just for make you like based on this, whatever the foundation we had, based on that only we need to solve the questions, whether it may be from JEE or MSET or maybe NEET, whatever it is. So you have to be clear with this basic, then only we are going to understand what electron withdrawing groups exactly, how this inductive mesomeric effect will impact on these things. Okay, so we will be seeing this NO2 group and CHO in the upcoming class. So I hope this is clear. Option for this particular question is C, because only releasing group is present in this third option, and this one is electron withdrawing group, this is also electron withdrawing group. That's why these are stabilized and this is no group is there. So out of these, A is more stable, the next B, the next C, next D, the next C. This is how you need to write the answer. To get clarity why exactly answer is like this, you need to wait for next class also. Okay. Next, yeah, this is all about our class. I think you have enjoyed the class and you have learned something which you don't know also. I mean, I think you have some difference from before class and after class, and just I suggest you to refer the notes once again and solve few more questions and stay connected with the upcoming classes also. This will be definitely helpful for your preparation, and I think most of you are having NEET or JEE phase 2 or NEET exam or next EAP set exam will be there very soon, right? So these classes are highly helpful for you. If you really like our content, so just mention in the comment box about us, and also you can directly reach us to the number provided in the description box. Okay, so thank you for watching and happy learning.